Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Spin Scott and this is the Contested Reality. Thanks so much for tuning in today. This video is going to be just a quick overview of some of the high-level differences between the latest release of Sorcery Contested Realm Beta, which is also known as Wave 3, the latest printing, versus Wave 2, aka Summer, also known as Asian Wave, and a bunch of other names, and then Wave 1, which was the original beta release from November of 2023. So before I jump into this, I'm going to make my usual recommendation. Make sure you are following and subscribe to the official Erik's Curiosa and Sorcery Contested Realm sites and socials, and I will clearly link those right in the comments and description of the video here. And also, if you like unofficial channels like mine, you're welcome to subscribe and leave some comments. Like the video if you like it, and look forward to interacting with you there. Those interactions definitely do help. It helps the channel, it helps the reach, it helps the algorithm, and make sure that my videos get in front of the people that would like to see them. So what I usually do is start off my videos raving about how much I love sorcery and love playing the game, and it's such a throwback and it's old school. So you've heard enough of that from me right now. So this time I'm going to do something different and actually jump right into the content here. So let's jump right in. So last night I played a couple of games at Stevenson Games, which is the LGS here, and I saw that they had Wave 3 on the shelf. Now Wave 3 was just released, and so I think they got the boxes yesterday morning, and so I was able to buy 2 boxes and open them, and I got enough cards to really make this comparison. So what I did was I came back to the studio here and I made packs of 3 waves. So I've got a few foils and a few non-foils from each, and I just labeled them on the outside of the sleeve here. So that's Wave 1, these are Wave 2, and these would be, of course, Wave 3. So I'm going to hold some cards up briefly, but I figure it would be better for you to see if I took some high-resolution images. So the images that I will show in the screen here were taken using a Lumix S5 II camera. It's very high resolution. I used professional photo lighting set to 5,000 Kelvin light temperature, and I, of course, sent the light balance in the camera to accommodate that. So the images I'm showing are not doctored, they're not modified or changed in any way. You're just seeing the raw image, essentially, that the camera took. And I think that leaves the rest of the interpretation for your eyes, right? And so regardless of what you can see on the cards here or you can see in the pictures, really the best way to see this is with your own eyes. I feel like I am very sensitive to color, so some of this may look different to me than it does to everyone, and I would imagine everybody's individual like that. But let's go ahead and jump right in here. While I am taking the cards out, I will also mention that I didn't notice any differences about the box between Summer Wave 2 and Wave 3, except for the fact that if you opened a lot of Summer, you notice that the back corner of the box, the back right corner, tend to sort of fall apart. It didn't really have any glue. It's certainly, I mean, you can clearly see with Wave 3, at least the 2 boxes that I opened and a couple of more that I looked at the store, that there is definitely attention to putting glue there now. So these boxes will last longer and stay intact if you're an LGS or if you have them on display. It's a booster display, right? So you might have it out, and that box should have much more integrity with regards to the glue. So with the packs, I did notice, and I'll show a picture up here as well, the packs of Alpha, which we're not really going to be talking about today, but Alpha did not have a barcode on the back. So not only can you tell it's an Alpha pack by the set symbol, but you can also tell easily that it did not have a barcode. So with Wave 1, Wave 2, and Wave 3 of Beta, they all have a barcode. It appears that all of the designations on there are the same, but a big difference that I noticed, well, not big, I mean, but everything jumps out when you're looking at stuff at this level of detail, right? So a big difference to me was that there is a silver stripe on the back where you open the pack of the Wave 3. So if you're finding packs and you open them in the wild and you see one that has the stripe and you know that it is, and I'll show the picture again, then you'll know that it's Wave 3. But let's jump right into the cards here. So I'm going to take these out, and I'm kind of mixed. I'm making sure I don't mix the versions. I am very careful with that, or the releases. So we've got pretty much everything out of the sleeves now. I'm going to show you Flame Caller. So this is a Wave 1 Flame Caller, okay? And then this is a Wave 2 Flame Caller. Again, you know, with the camera zoom, it might not be perfect. And then this is a Wave 3. So if you can see that clearly, fantastic. If you cannot see that, don't worry, I'm putting the pictures up. And what you will notice, which I do as well, is Wave 1 seems to have a little bit, I mean, we've all noticed this, right? Once Summer came out, the Wave 1 looks, for lack of better words, faded. And really it is just a lower, it's a lower saturation of the colors. I like all of these. I think you could print 100 different ones. I'd like them all. But Wave 2 was very, very, very saturated. And Wave 3, my interpretation, or I guess my observation here, is that Wave 3 sort of meets in the middle from a saturation perspective, but it leans more towards summer beta. So definitely doesn't have that vintage, faded, washed out, call it a revised type of saturation as the first wave. But it's very dark. Not very dark. It's very much closer to the darkness or the saturation of Wave 2. And then, let's see, I'm going to move this so I don't get these mixed up. And then, yeah, one thing I did notice also is that it seems like the contrast has been slightly fine-tuned on Wave 3. I don't think that's enough of a difference for you to scrap all of your other beta and start collecting this. In fact, I know I said when Summer came out I wasn't going to collect that, and I ended up collecting a couple of play sets and an art set of Wave 1 and Wave 2. I'm not really going to do that with the non-foils of Wave 3. I think more of those cards deserve to be in the hands of actual players, right? So we'll take a look at a couple of more of these a lot quicker. So we've got these three. Right here is Wave 1. In the middle we've got Wave 2, and then we've got Wave 3 right here. And so, yeah, the same kind of difference is with all of these. So I noticed that the saturation is, I would call it perfect on Wave 3, but I really like the other waves too. And then again, the contrast looks like it was definitely improved. So I'm going to not show you the Wave Shaper or the Spark Mage, but I will show you them in the pictures here. You'll notice on Spark Mage that the differences are the same. And it's very consistent looking at the difference between these three printings, right? So just to speed things along, I'm going to move this stuff out of the way, and we're going to look at a couple of foils. There was only two that I had all three versions of, so we will take a look at these, and I took pictures as well. So this is a Wave 1 Scent Hounds, okay? We've got a Wave 2 Scent Hounds, and we've got a Wave 3 Scent Hounds, okay? And just for the sake of keeping things sorted, I'm going to put these down and then show you the reverse. So there's Wave 1, there's Wave 2, there's Wave 3, and I would like to show you the back of the card. There we go. Okay, so those are all three. All right, so again, you can kind of see it's less different, honestly, on these, at least to my eye. The one thing I do notice, and hopefully you can see it in the image, is that the foiling, or the I guess the silver, the raised silver portion of the card does seem to be a little bit bolded in Wave 3. So look at Wave 1 and Wave 2, and you can see, especially in the borders, the silver border of the text box and the card name, it definitely looks a little bit thicker on the Wave 3. So if you're into making sure that all of your foils look perfect and your set is all from the same wave, you might see a bit of a difference there. As in terms of Leap Attack, which is another one, I'm glad I got this one because this one is just a more, it's just got a lot more of a range of color in it. And so, again, we've got Wave 1, Wave 2 in the middle, Summer, and Wave 3. And then I'll try this a different way here. So that's 3, 2, and Wave 1 here. Okay, so I'm noticing the same difference on this card, and I looked at a bunch of other foils, the Leap Attack and the Scent Hounds, and all of the other foils I looked at from Wave 3. I think it's the best looking foil out of the three. I like it a lot better than Wave 1 foils. Wave 1 foils just didn't really have that color depth at all, in my opinion. And again, it's a small company, and it's a startup, or just beyond startup phase, so they're getting everything right, and I commend them for continuing to tweak and modify these levels. And one of the important things is you want to get that right before a set like Gothic, because Gothic is probably going to have a lot of darker cards, darker artwork, not just from a subject matter perspective, but also you're going to have very dark, nighttime type of ominous type of images, and you really need as much contrast as you can to make sure that you can see the details come through that were from the original paintings into the cards. And so, again, it looks like overall they've dialed in everything that they need to there. The last attribute I'll talk about before we conclude the video is the cut of the cards. Wave 1, if you have Wave 1 cards, you'll notice it's not impossible, but it's probably difficult if you grade cards. I don't do the card grading because, side note, all of my cards are graded 11s if I don't grade them, right? They're perfect in my own mind. So I really don't care what some other subjective, viewpoint of somebody who's paid to grade cards and potentially manipulate, populate. We won't go there. Anyway, so when you look at the cut of the back of the cards, there's unfortunately a bit of roughness on the back. So it's hard to get Gem Mint 10 cards graded. It's certainly possible. It's easier on the foils across the board, but centering on the cards seems to be pretty decent across the board as well. Great, in fact, but the cut on these cards from Wave 1 and Wave 2 definitely had some roughness. Like the blades were not quite as sharp as they could be when these were cut, particularly on the back because it's a black border. So any fringing or any mistakes or challenges with the cut, you're going to see those little white marks there. So still, they're beautiful. Wave 3, I noticed an improvement in Arthurian Legends, which we haven't talked about, by the way. But Wave 3, I looked at many of these cards, and the cut seems drastically improved. Again, it's not perfect, but it's definitely one of the standout differences between the 3 waves. And so that's pretty much what I have today. I wanted to keep this one quick because I'd like you to get back to playing your sorcery games and collecting your cards or whatever you love to do with this. But yeah, you saw the pictures, you saw the cards. If you have any questions or want me to post, I'm very active in the Discord and on the official Facebook page and the Sorcery Contested Realm Roundtable community group, which I highly recommend you joining, and Instagram and other areas as well for sorcery. So if there's particular cards that you want to see, mostly non-foils, and you want a comparison, I have all of the ordinaries across all 3, all of the exceptionals across all 3, and a good bit of the elites, and just a few of the uniques because I only opened 2 boxes so far. But happy to show you specific cards if you want to see those. If you have any other comments or questions, feel free to note them in the comments here. Otherwise, thanks so much for viewing. Once again, I'm Spin Scott, and this is The Contested Reality. Cheers.